Alright everyone, it is that time again, ban list season. Now I've had a quick look over the ban list and we're going to be talking about some of the cards limited on it. I think it's okay. I feel like they could maybe have taken slightly more drastic action, but I feel like that's everybody's reaction to everybody's ban list. So either way, we're going to go through it card for card, talk about what, why, when, and what the impact is going to be, and sort of just take it from there. Starting off with the limits to 1 FLOOWANDEREEZE and Impen. Very interesting hint. I know Impen was obviously tier 3. It was definitely a powerful deck, but it didn't strike me as needing a nerf. This isn't ultimately going to change the playstyle of FLOOWANDEREEZE too much. For a long time, I only ever really played one Impen. The second was more of a fallback. It does perhaps give decks a better opportunity to out Impen, but it's definitely not going to stop the deck from being good, because it can just play one. It just needs to play basically a little bit more conservatively, as opposed to how fast and loose it's been playing recently with the double sort of Impen in one turn. Yeah, good hit. Again, I don't think it was ultimately too necessary, but I'm not a fan of Flu, so I'm not going to complain. Another card that they hit is the Eradicator Epidemic virus, and I'm certain that they only hit this card because of the recent German Nationals finish, where Freem won Game 3 of the finals. Labrynth player flips this card face up, wipes 5 spells out of the opponent cashier's hand, and then snipes the last card out of their hand using their lovely Labrynth. Completely destroyed. Second player going second, their entire hand just gone because of one card. That's why this card is being limited to 1. So you can still play it, but it being limited to 1 means it's no longer searchable off of Trap Trick, which is, I think, is the biggest motivation for this particular move. Now that it's not searchable off of Trap Trick, it'll be significantly less consistent in terms of this deck getting a hold of this card, so I don't think it's going to be posing too much of an issue going forward, but you're going to absolutely hate your life when your opponent manages to flip this up. And like I said, this is only being banned because we have the upcoming Labrynth support coming out, Lady Labrynth of the Silver Castle. This is unironically a top tier deck in the TCG, so expect to see a lot of Labrynth flying around. It is, for some reason, a fan favorite, myself included. I think the deck's really cool. It's definitely one of my favorite trap-based strategies, probably next to Unchained. But yeah, Labrynth is really cool. They're going to get really good, so be prepared to see that. But that's why the virus has been hit to 1. Again, I don't think anybody's losing any sleep over this card being hit to 1. TEARLAMENT Select. This is the first time they have hit a TEARLAMENT main deck card since the deck came out. Of course, the main deck itself came out rather heavily limited, and they've been dancing around this deck for the longest time. They've been hitting the Ishizu cards, they hit Terraforming, they hit Saberstein, and now they're finally taking some limited action against the main deck of TEARLAMENTs. Now, hitting TEARLAMENT Select to 1 is actually pretty good. It means that they're not going to be able to mill it out of the deck off of Scream and have multiple copies of it and loop it. It is going to reduce the consistency of Scream being able to search their deck for cards. Again, it's not the hit we need, but with everything else in the game becoming a little bit more powerful and a little bit more prepared for TEARLAMENTs, I think it is definitely going to at least have a decent enough impact. This deck was being run at 2 copies virtually universally, so they're getting a card ripped out of their deck. It's not the biggest of changes, of course, I get it, but it's something, and at this stage, I'll take whatever I can get my hands on. Honestly, it is going to hurt. They are going to feel this one, for sure. It's not like the Terraforming nerf ban, where it's sort of like, oh no, this one is actually going to hurt them a little bit. Getting into the rest of the meta, Branded Fusion to 2. Now, this is very interesting. Branded Fusion's in a weird spot, right? It's at 1 in the OCG, it's at 3 in the TCG, and it's at 2 in Master Duel. Now, the OCG, of course, has a couple of extra cards that we don't here in the TCG and in Master Duel. So, Branded is, yeah, they're definitely going to miss having the 3 Branded Fusion, for sure. They're definitely going to miss having 3 Branded Fusion. It makes it significantly more prone to interruption as well, because a lot of ways in which you'll beat Branded is just by grinding them out, negating their Branded Fusions, and stopping them from even beginning their fusion lines. So having their Branded Fusion hit to 2 is a very interesting direction to go in. I honestly didn't expect this. I really didn't. I didn't see Branded as enough of a problem to hit. It was tier 2, to be fair, so there you go. It's good enough for them to hit. Brand of Fusion to 2, massive impact. Speaking of hit to 2, we've got Spright Jet following in the footsteps of Spright Blue being hit to 2, and you know what, we'll also lump in the Swap Frog as well, also being hit to 2. Now we've got Blue, Jet, and Swap Frog all hit to 2 in the Spright deck, which makes total sense. Spright is going to be an absolute menace. Tier 1 threat, second only to Tearlaments on the current tier list. So it makes sense, absolutely, that these cards would be hit. Swap Frog in particular, I thought was pretty obnoxious at 3. And this is definitely going to hurt the Frog engine overall. That's one less recursion on your Ronin Totem. So yeah, decent hits to Spright. It is going to lower the overall power and consistency of the deck without killing it. And that's what I want them to do with these decks that aren't problematic but are powerful. Just, well, tap in the wrist. Just bring them down a wee bit. That's all we need. And that's what they've done. Blue to 2 wasn't enough, right? Let's be real, it just wasn't. But Blue and Jet and Swap Frog to 2, now we're starting to see some actual results. Now, the inclusion of the Nimble Angler and Spright Sprint has increased the consistency of Spright. So I think Spright as it is still probably better than what it was before the latest selection pack came out. But it is definitely, again, it's just another little tap on the wrist, just bringing it in line. Same with Branded Fusion, just bringing it down a wee bit and trying to hit the Tearlament cards. I don't know why they hit M-Pen, but they're trying to bring Tearlament down a wee bit as well. Small hits. I can get behind that idea. I really wish they took more drastic action in regards to Tearlaments in particular, but it's something. It's something. Again, after this, like, their only real option if they want to not kill the deck is like limiting all the main deck monsters to 1, the Havness, Siren, and Merle. Short of that, it's tough, right? I mean, it's a tough deck to balance. It is just that good, right? Yeah, so there is all of the limits. We only have one unlimit this time. We have Metaverse coming to 3 copies because the card isn't that good and shouldn't have been on the ban list to begin with. I don't know why this was on the ban list. What decks are even playing it? Subterra was playing it. Layer of Darkness was playing it. Oh no, Layer of Darkness have more copies of their field spell. Like, it's just, yeah, it's not that good. I guess the only real good deck here that uses it is Runic. I can maybe see Labrynth players using this to get their field spell more consistently, but I don't see them playing 3 copies of it. I think it being limited, like, to 2. I don't think any deck's gonna have more than 2 copies of this card, for sure. But either way, that's the ban list. Not super big this time. Only a few hits. I think they're good hits for sure. Lady Labrynth is just about the virus card. I think these are good hits. Preemptively hitting this card to 1 is going to stop a lot of salty surrenders. Abso-freaking-lutely. FLOOWANDEREEZE being hit to 1, I can't complain about because I hate Flu, but it wasn't overly powerful. Sulic to 1, it's a start. We're going to see Tearlaments sort of, hopefully. I mean, it's weird, right? They bring Tearlaments down a wee bit, but they also bring down the power of its biggest competitors. Like, what are they looking to accomplish here? Like, what do they want to beat? Let's bring up the tier list. Let's bring it up. We'll have a look. Like, what are they looking to beat Tearlaments then? A Sword Soul dropping to tier 3. Sword Soul and Dragon Link, I guess, could maybe rise up a little bit. I don't think these buffs are going to be enough to take Spright out of tier 1. I think Sprite's pretty comfortable tier 1. Branded Despia, very comfortable tier 2. I don't think that's going to change. We might see these 2 decks climb a little bit. I don't think Exo's going anywhere. And to be perfectly honest, I don't see this going any higher than it currently is. This might go up slightly, but it's not getting out of tier 3. Putting it in tier 3 is generous as it is, right? Exo Sisters are cool, but they're not that good. Flu, I can't see Flu losing a lot from this. Most people are playing this card at 2, but I don't think they're going to be pulling their hair out over losing a copy of M-Pen. So yeah, ultimately, small list, not super high impact, not really anything worth worrying about for anyone. So none of your decks are unplayable, everything's totally fine. And if you're not playing any of these decks, then just cash money in your pocket, so it is. So anyway, that's the tier list. If you have any questions, anything you want to ask, throw at me. That's what the comment section is for, but we also have a Discord in the description. You can hop into the Discord and chat to me directly there if you would prefer. With that being said, like the video, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.